Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be looking at a Rakan support game. So special thanks to Jens for the generous donation. I really appreciate it. If you would like to access this Google Doc, you can find it in the description, and you can also find some timestamps if you just want to jump straight to the game start. That'll be in the description as well. All right, so with Rakan, just in general, in terms of warding, you want to try to place one control ward per 5 minutes. So 30-minute game, you need to have 6 control wards. One normal ward per minute on average. So 30-minute game, 30 wards. If you're running zombie wards, you should have twice that amount. So 30-minute game, 60 wards. I recommend the following runes. Say for 8.3, not the preseason, since that's obviously changed here. For 8.3, which just came out today. Guardian, Font of Life, Conditioning, Second Wind, and then Zombie Ward and Ingenious Hunter. Alright, so they just did nerf Summoner Spellbook. So that was an interesting choice for Rakan, but now that they have... that's been nerfed, and then Footwear and Stopwatch have both been collapsed onto the same branch in that rune tree of Ingenious, then you're not going to be able to get both of them. So I think that makes that tree a lot less compelling. It is interesting, but Guardian is also really good on Rakan, especially in the mid-game, especially against Assassins, to help protect key targets. Font of Life is actually pretty legit on him because you can get Ardent Censorants, or everyone that you tag with your CC is going to be able to benefit from that Ardent Censor buff, give some extra healing to your AD carries and other people that auto-attack. Conditioning is really good in terms of scaling. If you're in a tough lane like a Zyra or something like that, you can take Mirror Shield. That helps out. Then Second Wind is great also for a tough lane. Or if you want, you can go Revitalize, which will make your Redemptions and your Lockets and your E's a lot stronger, but you won't have as great of an early game. So it's just kind of up to you. Then I'm back on the Zombie Ward Ingenious Hunter train. I just think any champion where you're going to get Redemption and Locket, Ingenious Hunter is just very, very strong. It's still really good. Just feels so great to have much more ward control, more sweeps, more redemptions, more lockets, just a lot more control over the game. And yes, Zombie Ward was nerfed, so you only get 60 seconds instead of 180 in the early game, but that's still pretty good coverage. And if you think about it, a lot of times the Zombie Wards would get cleared anyways before they get the full 3 minutes on them. So Zombie Ward was nerfed a couple of patches ago, and that does suck. But now the other like major competing tree, the Ingenious Hunter, had several nerfs to it. Or not the Ingenious Hunter, the Inspiration Tree had several nerfs to it. So I think that makes Zombie and Ingenious a bit more of an interesting choice now than it was before. And then build order, I go against the grain here. I recommend Nomadic Coin, just so you get more gold, so you get that power spike of the Redemption and Locket a lot faster. You also are going to get your wards a lot faster, which means you're going to have more wards on the board. You're going to have more zombie wards, more vision control. Coin is usually going to be your fastest way to get to the 500 gold, so that you get your free sight stone these days. So I think that Nomad is very good. You'll see a lot of top-end Rakans going Spell Thieves. You know, that does give you a little bit more damage with your Qs and your autos. Off of the Spell Thieves, you do have some more mana regeneration, which is nice, but that falls off really, really hard outside of the lane. And Rakan is not notorious for having a powerhouse laning phase anyways. I mean, his laning phase is not that great most of the time. Like, his auto attack range is very low, and his Q is really hard to hit. It has a very slender hitbox, a pretty long cooldown, and the damage is pretty lackluster anyways. So you can put 2 or 3 points in Q if you want and try to spam that for harass in lane. But it's really hard to get that around minions to actually hit people. It has no splash damage, thin hitbox, deceptively short range. You just, every time I've watched a challenger, pro level player put multiple points in Q, they just do not consistently hit those Qs on people in lanes. It's just really hard to hit those. And you don't get any extra healing out of it. All you get is some extra damage and a slightly lower cooldown for it. So, and to do that, yeah, you're getting a little bit more laning presence, but you're also sacrificing a lot of your mid-game because you're giving up either your W, which is your crowd control and mobility, or you're giving up your E, which is another form of mobility, and a really, really powerful shield that scales very well with levels. So, and cooldown. I mean, your W and your E get 2 seconds less cooldown whenever you put points into them, so that's a really big deal. So, you know, that makes me want to max either W or E. Typically, I like W better because it gives you more mobility. You can jump over walls and place wards better. You can rotate better to hot situations, and you just have more crowd control. So in a fight, you know, if you get that cooldown down to, I think, 10 seconds, either 10 or 12 seconds, and then you have 40% CDR, you can use that W, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times in some fights, and that's a big deal. I mean, it's a 1-second knockup that can hit multiple people and does pretty respectable damage. So I think that's good, and that allows you to reposition a lot more. You know, you can dodge skill shots, you can dodge hooks in lane, you can do all sorts of things with that W. It's very, very versatile. So I like maxing W, then E, then Q. Once again, goes against the grain. If you want to go Spell Thieves, you can go 2 or 3 points in Q and lane and just hope for the best. Hope that you're going to lay down some major harass. But honestly, Rakan, you know, I just don't think he has a lot of harass. I think of him more as a scaling Janna type of champion that also has a really good engage and that's less safe. So that's what I would do. And I think that makes a lot more sense if you want to go for sort of this zombie and ingenious hunter build, like I said, because you're going to have more mobilities. You can place more wards deeper in their jungle, which will give you better zombie wards, and so on and so forth. And then that lets you rotate better, so you can use your lock-in and redemption more in fights. So yes, he does have good AP scaling. Yes, you know, it does give you some okay mana and some okay, you know, harass in lane if you go Spell Thieves, but you're going to have a lot less mana in the long run because once you're out of lane, it's almost impossible to proc that Spell Thieves on people, and so you're going to have if you rush directly to Eye of the Watchers or whatever it's called after the change, yeah, you're going to benefit from that 35 AP, but that's only really going to affect you, you know, give you this nice power spike window, power spike of having a little bit of extra value from like maybe 12 minutes to 20 minutes maybe, depending on how many coins you get. And then after that, Nomad outscales it big time. And I would much rather not only outscale, but transition instead of just having a flat 35 AP, transition into more gold so that I could complete the redemption and lock it much faster. So that's my thoughts on it. You know, there are other builds as well. Like I said, you can get 2 or 3 points in Q, but then you can also get something like a Righteous Glory. Some people like that, like to go Righteous Glory into Locket, so that gives you even better engage, gives you a little bit more health, a little bit more survivability. The health scales well with Locket, but my issue with that build is that you already have really good engage. Like Rakan's problem is very rarely can I get on the enemy. Usually you can. You press Alt, you run at them, you get 50% move speed, and then you press W, boom, there it is. So Righteous Glory does have nice stats, but it's a bit overkill on the engage in my mind, and it's expensive. It's $27.50 to buy that item, and that's a lot of gold. I mean, when you consider that redemption's only $2,100, that also gives you like good health. I think it might give you the same health. It might give 100 less health. I think it's 200, and maybe, yeah, it's 200. Say nerfed it a while back. So it's 200 health instead of 300 health. This is still giving you like decent health, really high mana regen. You need mana regen on Rakan, like some item that gives you mana regen, especially if you go coin. And so redemption is, you know, a really good mana regen item. And then of course you get the CDR, which Righteous Glory does give you the CDR. You get the plus healing and shielding power, which scales very well with Locket. And then, of course, you get the active, which is huge. I mean, it has 550 range, so you can influence fights from halfway across the map. And with Ingenious Hunter, it's going to be on a pretty low cooldown overall. So I just think that the Redemption Locket just gives you supreme team fighting power, and they both synergize so well with each other and with Rakan's kit. I would just much rather rush those two items than something like Righteous Glory, which does have some synergy with Locket, but is going to make your later items a lot worse. So, like, for example, Ardent Sensor is also good on Rakan, and the extra plus healing and shielding from Ardent Sensor scales very well with Redemption, and the healing from Redemption triggers Ardent Sensor. So these three items just have a lot of synergy with each other. Other items you might consider would be, like, maybe a Banner of Command somewhere in there if you really need some extra side lane pressure. I think that's a very underrated item that could potentially be pretty good. Rakan can go place those very easily too because he has such great mobility with his W. So Banner is something that you might be able to slip in after Redemption. I still think you need a mana regen item, and Banner doesn't give that, Locket doesn't give that, because he can become a mana hog in fights if you're using a lot of shielding and Wing. So there are a lot of different builds on Rakan. I do have a Season 8 guide if you want to check that out on the channel in general, but these are just kind of my thoughts. So the general, you know, a lot of the top end people are going to go Spell Thieves. They're probably going to get 2 or 3 points in Q and lane, maybe more than that sometimes, and they're going to prioritize. I mean, some of them, let me just look and see. Some of them go for the Redemption Locket build. Yeah, a lot of them are going to go for this Eye of the Watchers, Remnant of the Watchers, or whatever, and I'm not a huge fan of that for the reasons I just described. A lot of them are still going Spellbook. They're kind of all over the place, though. Some people go Ares, some people go Spellbook, some people go Guardian. I think Guardian's the best. I really like Font of Life on him as a secondary, and then I also like getting Second Wind and Conditioning really helps you through the laning phase. And then Guardian's just great for all ends. Don't forget it gives you movement speed when you Guardian as well. So that really helps you, you know, move around and be where you need to be in fights. So a lot of people are actually rushing Redemption, which I do like to see. So a lot of people are actually going Redemption Locket, which is great. And Ardent Censer. So yeah, they're getting similar items. It looks like people rushing the Righteous Gory is kind of falling off. There's a couple people that get that, but another good item is Zeke's. So you can do the double buff build where you go Zeke's and Ardent Censer, which is a pretty good combo. This does give you the flat mana, which is great early on, and you have a pretty low cooldown ult. The issue is you're not going to stick around to really do a lot of that Frostfire Covenant damage, but you do give your ally the extra 25% on-hit damage, which synergizes very well with the attack speed and the on-hit off of Ardent Censer. So these two are both very good if you have a really fed AD carry. So if your AD carry goes like 3-0 in lane, you know, if you have a Cogmaw that's 3-0, you might consider just forgetting the Locket and then just go, you know, Censer Zeke's. So that's a very good way to double buff your AD carry. Add some extra damage and just snowball a bit harder. So Rakan has a lot of really useful builds out there. But I think the default is probably Redemption Locket. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch this game. So as usual, we'll watch it, we'll take some notes, and at the very end, we'll bring it all together for the best 5 to 10 things to help Gens win some more games here. So let me turn the sound back on for League. Maybe. Pause it really quickly here. Am I just losing my mind? Why? Hopefully I didn't mess up my sound somewhere along the way. Speakers, USB. Turn this up. Is any... Okay, yeah, I just heard something there. Let me listen to something that's not copyrighted here. I might need to just restart that, because I did move around with my headset a little bit here. Sorry, I'm just going to click on something and just see if I can hear myself. So it shouldn't be a copyright violation.
What's a super easy way to...
Okay, so that's working. Okay, now this looks like there's more stuff here. Okay, there we go. I don't know what it was showing me earlier. There we go. Now we're in business. All right, sorry about that. Okay, let's get in here. It's weird. I had to unplug and move a couple of plugs around my USBs, and sometimes that does some squirrely things. But, okay, we're here. We're good. Let's get going.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
All right, so... Blue side.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Okay, so Rammus is starting top. When did you start? Okay, you started Spell Thieves. That's traditional. Once again, you know, if you're gonna do that... Change mode. if you're gonna do that, you need to land a lot of harass. I've tried to switch my mouse from 250 hertz to 500 hertz too. It's interesting. I'm gonna have to get used to it. I think the more hertz, the better. I just have to get used to seeing it more. Okay. You don't want to show here. Like, you don't want them to see you because then they're gonna know that that Rammus is starting blue. Because if they see you here, like you walked up to the tower, if they see you right there, then they're gonna know you're not helping him at red, so they're gonna know that he starts blue. And if they're paying attention, then they could know they could either invade your red, or if they go top lane, like if they start blue and go top lane, they know Rammus is not going to be there for the counter gank because he's going to be rotating bottom. So you never want to give away that intel. Like, if you want to... if your jungler is starting blue and you don't need to help them, you need to hang out, like, over here in general, and then just wait until the first wave is at, like, maybe half health, and then you walk up from here, so they can't tell where you are. Who is there? The jungler's Master Yi. He's probably not going to do a lot of fighting early, but in theory, he could go up here and kill Akali, you know, around 3 minutes and not be scared of, Rammus. Okay, started W, that's fine. I like the Ignite. Soraka's kind of a tricky lane. You're not really going to be able... This is another reason why I don't like the Spell Thief in this matchup. Because any harassment that you put down is not going to matter. Because Soraka's just going to heal through it. Basically, against the Soraka, it's all or nothing. Like, either you all in and fight to the death, or you just don't trade with her at all. Because usually, she's going to win. Small trades. She just has so much healing with her own Q. She'll heal herself, and with her W, she'll heal her AD carry. So, Rakan is pretty good in this matchup, I think. But not until level 6. Okay, no. So it's not worth it to try any sort of chip damage on her, because she's just going to heal it, especially under tower. Like, if she silences you fast enough when you try to do that, then you won't be able to E out of there as fast, and you'll end up taking a tower shot. How are we doing farm-wise? Okay. Twitch is going to be up a good chunk of farm. That's going to be rough. Soraka's also going to outscale you because she has coin and you have Spell Thieves. So, Spell Thieves, you basically have to get a lot of aggression early to make it worth it. And it's just not going to happen in this lane. So it's seem to chill, try to farm, you know, throw a couple of Qs at her every now and then just so you do something with your mana, but I wouldn't go for that many Ws. Also, if you go in early for your W like that, then the jungler is going to know you don't have it. And so, like, if Master Yi pops over and comes running at you, it's going to be a problem. Whoa, what? Okay. Now you know she doesn't have heal and she doesn't have mana, so you guys can't even really fight him. Yeah, don't even try, because you don't have heal and he does. So, just don't even try to fight him here. You need to take a mental note of that too, that if you see a Misfortune do that, like just randomly use her heal in lane, you gotta question her a little bit. Okay, so E onto the Rammus, E onto Rammus, and then W. Okay, that's fine. I think when he was running up, if you E to him while he's running, or while he's powerballing up, I think you could have E'd from here to here. And then, like, right when he taunts, you could have knocked up with the W and used Ignite, and you would have forced him to use his heal. But you just went for the raw W. Don't forget as Rakan, you can jump to your allies, so anyone who has movement like that, like a Rammus, and you want to E onto the Rammus as he's rolling by so that you get closer, and then that'll allow you to hit your W faster. Then you can always E back out. Okay, Soraka is out of mana, so anything that you hit here will stick. Okay, Twitch is winning big time on CS. But yeah, you need to take a mental note that that Misfortune is either uncomfortable with the role or maybe doesn't know what's going on because she used her heal like that. So you know, you don't need to type to her, rage at her, or question marker, but you just need to, you know, take a mental note that you probably don't want to play around her or like bet on her to make the right decision later in the game. And that's not to be mean, that's just being honest. And you need to notice that stuff and say, okay, well, I'm probably going to have to play around Akali or Veigar. I mean, it's possible that this person just slipped up and just accidentally pressed heal or something. Maybe they were trying to type. But you need to add that to your docket, you know. Add that into your equation for how you want to assess, like, who you need to play around. Yeah, Twitch looks like he might be AFK or something, so yeah, just keep pushing here. Yeah, don't back. If he's AFK, just keep pushing into the tower. A little scared of Master Yi, but I don't think he's going to do much. Okay, Twitch is back. Okay, now's a good time to back. Go ahead and back. Go ahead and back. Back. Get back in the base. I would have backed. You haven't pushed in. It's a little scary right now that you don't know where Master Yi is. Master Yi could be doing Dragon very soon. Master Yi could come gank you. She has no mana. She has no heal. Like, I would have backed right there. After you push this in, you definitely want to back. You need to get back. You need to get wards on that dragon. Zed's also going to probably start roaming soon, potentially. Yes, go ahead back. Okay. So that's one more wave than I probably would have stayed, but that's okay. So let's write some of this down. Hey, thanks for the sub.
First blood.
Okay, DF Sword. Looks like you might be rushing Ardent Censer. I don't recommend that for a couple of reasons here. Okay, she used her heal again. Alright, so that's not an accident. She just, like, actually doesn't know appropriate times to use heal. So that's the most... That's number one, is this AD carry looks inexperienced. Okay, so Ardent Censer, you primarily want to buy that if your AD carry is going to be strong. Like, you trust that AD carry is going to do some big things with that extra attack speed and on hit. Okay? Because if you buy Ardent Censer, you invest that 2,300 gold, and let's say that Veigar gets going this game, right? Let's say Veigar ends up, you know, getting a couple of kills in the next couple of minutes. Your Ardent Censer is not going to help Veigar very much, right? But if you spent that money on something like Redemption, for example, then it could help the Veigar, because if Veigar gets into a fight middle lane, you can throw a Redemption from, like, right here and hit the middle lane to help him out. Or, you know, later on in a team fight, you can use Redemption on him. So, yeah, so number one is this Misfortune is questionable to some extent. She did just get a kill, so that's good. That is good. But another thing is just, like, Misfortune structurally is not an auto-attack base AD carry. She's a caster AD carry. So what that means is, she's not going to be getting a lot of attack speed items, most likely. And she doesn't have a lot of attack speed steroids. She does have her W, which will speed her up. But her role in most fights is usually just to press ult, and she just channels her ult. And Ardent Censer doesn't do anything for that, right? Because Ardent Censer only triggers on attack speeds. Okay, go over here. E to him. When Yi tries to run, W him. Okay. I think right there, you don't need to use your W point blank. I don't mind the ult there. You can just ult and just walk into him. And then while he's charmed, then you W, and then you chain it together, and you get, you know, 2 to 2.5 seconds of CC instead of just 1 second. Because if you ult and then W, you're only going to get, like, 1 second and some change. So you want to do that so people don't flash out of your W. But if you can, the better chain for your CC is if you ult, run into them, then once they're charmed, then you W. And you get an extra, you know, half a second to a second CC out of it. This is pretty clever. Yeah, just wait here. You should have been closer to W onto that. The other option would be to E onto them. And then wait and see if Master Yi flashes. I thought Yi was going to... Well, he doesn't have flash. Okay, never mind. If he had flash, you could wait until he flashes. Like, if he flashes this way, then you could RW him. But that was okay. I mean, it worked out. Just a couple of things for the... just to think about. But, now y'all need to back soon. You have no mana. Yeah, I'll just probably go ahead and back here. Yeah, y'all should have backed a little bit faster, though. Actually, you have to stay. Let her back. Tell her to back. Then you stay. Okay, and just last hit under tower. Tell Rammus to come down and just help you hold this tower so they don't dive you. Do not fight. Don't fight this. Soraka's got all of her stuff. I mean, if they're under tower, okay. Okay, well, they just donated a kill to you, so I guess that works. I was going to say don't fight it if they're, like, standing right here, but if, you know, Master Yi just wants to walk under tower against Rammus and Rakan and just give you a kill, that's fine. But in terms of Ardent, whoa, she rushed GA? Okay, well, if there weren't red flags before, there are now. But yeah, Ardent Sensor is best on champions that are going to be getting a lot of attack speed or who have... And or, like, usually those champions also have a really, like, good attack speed steroid in their kit. So, like, a Jinx, a Vayne, Twitch, Tristana, Kog'Maw, all of these champions are pretty good with Ardent Sensor. But champions that primarily rely on their abilities to do damage are not going to be great with Ardent Sensor. So, champions like Jhin, Misfortune, Ezreal... those are kind of the three primary ones that don't benefit very much from Ardent Sensor. So, okay, good catch. You got Ignite. You should have ignited her, I think, when you landed on her. Force her to, well, I guess she flashed anyways, even without using Ignite, but I probably would have just gone ahead and ignited her there. Oh, Twitch doesn't even have heal. I didn't notice that. I thought he had heal. I was kind of wanting you to force the heal out of Twitch, too, but you force it out because he didn't take it. Okay. Yeah, take tower, take tower. You need more vision. What do you... Okay, yes. Going for Ardent. Mercury Treads. I wouldn't go Mercury. Well, I mean, maybe. Maybe that's legit. Maybe you're afraid of Fiddlesticks fearing you. That is legit, but I probably would have taken either mobility boots or Ionian boots here, depending on how comfortable you are with roaming all the time. Ionian boots are great because it gives you... That will give you a lot of cooldown reduction if you go Locket. Because Locket doesn't have cooldown reduction on it, so any champion that wants to go Locket is going to be missing, you know, at least 10% CDR. And that gives you more flashes, more ignites. So Ionian boots are like the ideal boot, but mobility gives you a lot more rotation around the map. They don't have a real AP threat other than Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks is getting... Well, he's not getting destroyed top. He's doing okay. But if you are afraid of the Fiddle fear, then... I guess. That's just Mercury's a little tough when they only have 1 AP on their team who's not doing that well. Yeah, I'd probably rather see you snowball this with mobility boots and just get a bunch of vision up and just rotate and play around Veigar, get a lot of kills mid lane with Veigar. You need to get out of here, though. You guys have been up here way too long. You did force a teleport, so definitely leave now. There's about to be a third person. No, 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 no. Y'all are way overstaying. No, you gotta get out of here. Yeah, just run. No, no, you're gonna lose. Just let her die. Okay. Just let her die, let her die, let her die, let her die. Yeah, you're not killing him, and he has a GA also. I don't know what's up with these guys rushing GA, but yeah. You just gotta let her go. Because you just basically, like, use your flash when you have to. Like, when she dies, she's not doing anything when she wakes up. She has no summoners, she has no damage, because she has no mana. She's dead. So y'all should have backed a lot earlier. Especially once you see that teleport, you know it's going to be 3v2. Zed could potentially rotate over there. He's been pushing in the Veigar. Just way too long. In general, once this first tower is down, you want to push it to, like, maybe right here. Just a little bit past river. Just push the wave up and then rotate over here. And start pressuring mid-tower. And you need to have much more vision down. So as you push up to here, I want you to ward, like, right here and right here. And then just have one ward kind of in the middle here. So that way you get nice little field of vision so you can see where they're rotating when they go between lanes. And then you can catch them out. So if you see, like, Twitch walking through here, for example, you can wait in this bush with Misfortune, or you can tell Veigar to rotate over, and then you can engage on him and kill him. So you just want to push this wave up, like maybe push it one more, and then just roam up and down this river, clear out all the vision, don't let them have any vision, and then that way, when you're moving around, they can't see where you're going, but you can see where they're going. So that gives you a lot of opportunities to make plays. Okay. Now, you see that Twitch is over there. Okay, so Rakan's there too. Yeah, y'all can go ahead and get this tower. I mean, if they're just gonna ARAM middle, then... that's a pretty good strategy. Okay, so... okay, y'all gotta leave. Leave, leave, leave. Well, never mind, never mind. Watch them. I thought they were gonna rotate over. It's hard because you don't have wards here, so we don't know where they are or what they're doing if they go into the darkness here. Yeah, I think y'all probably still have to back up. I'm halfway tempted to tell you just to try to go one more. Just force them to come over here, but you'd probably get caught and killed, potentially.
Rampage. Shut down.
Just write down a couple of notes here. Just let your allies die if they're out of position. You try to use R, then W if you can. More vision for rotations. Pressure mid sooner. Okay, time to leave, time to leave. I mean, you do have 2 dead, but, I mean, maybe. Okay, I guess he can blow up Twitch, possibly. It's getting a little wild. I mean, you guys do have Rammus, who's really overpowered, especially, you know, under Diamond. It's kind of the solo queue jungle master. But I think y'all need to leave. Just go spend your gold. Yee's pressuring top. Yeah, y'all need to leave. You're just about to give him a bunch of kills. Run. I mean, y'all are skating away. This Rammus is like rolling up to the rescue. Oh, now it twitches. Is that a press the... Was that press the attack Rammus? I can't see the runes. But you see, like, y'all... You know, you did get a couple extra kills here. But Master Yi got one tower, and he might get a second tower here. Is he going AD? No, he's going on hit, so he's not going to do that much damage to this tower, but... He goofed that up. Alright, good. Ardent Watcher. Well, what are you getting now? You got another amp tone. You need to get Redemption and Locking here, I think. You want extra side lane pressure. You know, Banner is possible, or if you want better engages and rotations, you could think about Righteous Glory. You go in, like, Athenes or something? I mean, he does have good AP scaling, but I think that's just not enough team contribution. In theory, Zeke's could be okay, but once again, that's for on-hit champions. Champions that are going to get a lot of attack speed, and Misfortune's not one of those. Okay, you need vision. You have to have vision. Like, you need a ward here and here at this point, so you can see when they're going to rotate over to Misfortune. I mean, this is on the dangerous side. Like, we see Twitch and Soraka here. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and get out of there.
Shut down.
Okay. See who's fed on it. Nobody really has that many items. So yeah, Veigar's going off. This is kind of what I talked about before. If you, I don't know, if you had Redemption and Locket, like, that would help you play around Veigar a bit more. Even Banner, just to split push a side lane and just let Veigar get some more of these isolation kills. Yeah, Ardent really doesn't do anything for Veigar. Misfortune did actually go for an attack speed item, which is a little weird, but... Okay. Okay, good job. Misfortune certainly makes maximum use of that heal cooldown. And Veigar does. I mean, it worked, I guess. People love using their heals in this game. Okay. Get the other inhibitor, get the other inhibitor. You're not going to be able to win the game, I don't think, here. I would just get this inhibitor. I mean, Twitch is up, Soraka's up. So, inhibitor is better than one tower. If you get both towers, that's probably better than inhibitor. But you need to ping them over here, like, tell them to get this. Now it's time to go. You guys may not have had time to get both of these to get this inhibitor here, but it's possible. If you got all three after this, like, if you pinged this immediately and everyone ran over here, you might have been able to finish it. I think that would be a better effort than trying to get these, because you're probably not going to get these this early in the game. The death timers are just too low without super minions. Rammus is probably going to go down and kill him. I can't figure out what... Oh, Banshees. Okay, you're getting Banshees Veil. I still think that's a bit of overkill for this Fiddlesticks. I mean, I know maybe you're scared of his fear, but... I mean, in a game that's 36-6, frankly, it's not going to matter that much, probably what you get. But I'm just trying to tell you, just, like, optimally, if the game was closer, like, what you might want to think about here. E onto him. E onto him. Just like when they only have one AP threat and they're really not that fed, you don't have to itemize that much for AP, you know? And don't forget, the thing is, Locket is very good against burst too, so if you're worried about Fiddlesticks like coming in and like bullying you up so you feel like you need more magic resist, don't forget Locket does give you magic resist, and it shields your entire team. That's the thing, is like, it'll shield your entire team from a lot of his damage. And the thing is, Locket can also shield people from Zed's ulti. It can protect a lot of people from Alpha Strike and that damage. So, Locket negates a lot of damage. You're gonna get blown up by Baron. Okay. Whew. Like 1 or 2 autos. And so you really need to be thinking about these team contribution items. Actives. I know that actives are a lot more difficult to use, and I believe you'd said that you're still fairly new to the game, right? Like, I think you said that you'd only been playing like maybe a few months. So I know that item actives are difficult to use correctly, so, you know, if you're still kind of trying to work on when you should use your ultimate and your other abilities, and just having, you know, 2 more item actives is just too much on your plate while you're focusing on other stuff, that's fine. But I do think that, you know, as you get some more experience on your belt, as you become more comfortable on the champions you're playing, you need to transition into thinking about item actives a bit more. So thinking about Locket and Redemption are the 2 biggest support items right now, because they help your entire team. Not just you with personal stats, but your whole team with their ability. But you do have to use them at the right time. So if you're not using them correctly, or if you forget about them a lot, then, you know, obviously that's not going to be good. But get this Twitch, get this Twitch. You know, Twitch is fortunately pretty far behind. Yeah, there you go. Okay. But in general, like, you need to get on Twitch. Wherever he is, get him. If you're Rakan. He's the big threat on their team. Even though he's pretty far behind, even though his itemization is very questionable, that's one where you should go in and W, yeah, to help out your team. So sometimes you need to abandon your team, but that's one where it's just one guy and there's 4 people, so that should be fine.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
If you don't want to get Redemption, if you'd rather get you know, Righteous Glory or something like that, then you need to at least get Locket. Okay, good, good. What'd you end up? Yeah, it's the Banshees fail. And of course you want to try to hit a few more W's. I didn't talk about that a lot. You did miss quite a few W's, but that just comes with more practice. You know, there's no point in really like pointing that out. But okay, so here are the biggest things that I noticed here. So So one of the biggest things in lane against the Soraka, as I mentioned before, and this could be for Soraka, it could be for Nami, Sona, but especially Soraka because she has the best sustain in lane. You really don't want to try to spend a lot of your resources to deal chip damage to him, just to deal a little bit of damage, right? Because she's going to be the most efficient. Like, she's going to be more efficient than you at doing that, right? So in a lot of situations, Soraka's going to be hitting you with Qs, and she's going to be using those Qs to convert her Ws into really big heals for her ally. So, you know, if you spend your entire mana bar doing a little bit of damage with your W, and she only spends, you know, a third of her mana bar healing it all back, then she's winning that resource trade. Also, when you go in with your W, like, Master Yi wasn't as much of a threat early on because Soraka, Twitch, and Master Yi, none of them have very good crowd control. But if you were playing against a jungler that has good crowd control and really good ganking, like you're against a Rammus, or you're against a Sejuani or a Gragas or something like that, if you use that W to go in, then the jungler's going to know you don't have that W to escape, and they're going to be able to go in there and get a gank on you and probably make you blow your flash. So you really don't want to be harassing with that W unless you intend to do, you know, a significant amount of damage to him. And if you are going to do it, you need to ping your AD carries. So just ping them and just let them know that you're going to go in with the W so they know to expect it. So that way Miss Fortune will know she can go up and auto attack and Q. Because I'd say probably, you know, 75% of the time when you went in with that W, Miss Fortune didn't even touch him. You know, even if you hit the W, she didn't even land an auto attack on him. So it's not really worth it, you know, for that much risk. And then a lot of times you also use your E to jump back out so she didn't take damage back. And that's a lot of mana early on. You know, you're dealing a very small amount of damage to them for a lot of mana to use your W and your E, which are both also really long cooldowns. So you kind of got away with it in this lane because just Master Yi never ganked. Soraka was very passive, and so was Twitch. So, you know, that's kind of letting you develop some bad habits in lane. But you want to be a bit more sharp, you know, as you level up, as you increase your rank a little bit. Don't use that W for harassment. You know, it's primarily, as Rakan, that's your all-in tool. You know, you're doing, like, big damage, like at least 50% damage if you're going to use that W. So you need to let your AD carry know, and you need to stack some substantial damage on him if you're going to do that. Okay. So you also need to let your allies die if they're out of position. And I know this is one of the hardest things to do as support. I struggle with this all the time. And this is still one of the biggest mistakes that I make, even after thousands of games, is we want to stick around and help people. You know, we're playing support because we like to help people, but you just have to let your allies die. Like the Miss Fortune there, when they have her caught, when they're running her down, especially after they, you know, blow her Guardian Angel, she's not getting out of that. There's no way she's getting out of that. They're all just going to stand there right on top of her. She has no flash. She has no mana. There's just no way that she, you know, wins that fight. So you just need to leave. Just let her die. Now, you guys should have backed earlier. So I'm going to put that in here, too. Okay, so this is related to that. You guys needed to back a lot earlier because you didn't have vision on their blue side jungle, so that, you know, Zed could have been rotating onto you. Master Yi could have been coming over there in theory. So you can't push up that far unless you get vision of the enemy. And the better strategy is to rotate towards mid lane and put pressure on the mid lane after you take down the bot lane. So the typical script that you want to do to try to win and close out games is you take the bottom lane tower, you go back, you buy your items, you come back, you push the wave up to where I talked about, just a little bit past the tower, then you rotate over, you get rid of all their vision in the river, so you use control wards and your sweeper, you lock out their vision, then you put vision in those places I described around their blue buff and around that little alleyway near mid lane. Then you can take Dragon if Dragon's up. If Dragon's not up, then go ahead and rotate over to middle, take middle lane, go back down to bot lane if they have it pushed up, if they're threatening your tower, go back down there, push it back, and then just get it to where mid lane's pushing and bot lane is pushing past the tower, Here, I'll put up a map here real quick. It's all about generating pressure and getting objectives. Okay, that's what League is really all about. So, when you got this bot lane tower down, you need to go back, buy your items. Whenever the minions are, like, right here, whatever, when you come back, you push them up to, like, right here. Push them into here. Rotate over, like I was talking about. Then I want you to ward, like, here. If you're too scared to ward here. Then come over here, ward this. You could put one other ward somewhere that you want. You can either put like a ward here or here, like here. But these are the two important spots because that's going to see a lot of their jungle. It's going to see this area and it's going to see this area if they're rotating. So a lot of times when they go from top lane over to here or from mid lane over to here, this is the route they're going to take. They're going to go along this path and you want to be able to see that. So you shut out all their vision here. You sweep all of this stuff. Then you can run up and down this river freely to either go down here or to go to mid lane or to threaten dragon. And then they're forced into this area where they have to rotate through here, and you're going to see it. So you're pushing them back further and further into their territory. So you have minions on their side right here. They have to run over here. You go pressure mid lane. You take this tower. Then you pressure it even more. You push it past this tower. Now, ideally, you have this lane pushed past the tier 1. You have this lane pushed past the tier 1. Then you have a choice. You can either go pressure top lane after that, or you can go get the Rift Herald. So usually you'll get the Rift Herald, that's easier. Then after you get the Rift Herald, you have choices. You can either try to use it mid lane, you can use it to finish up top lane if you don't have it down yet. And then once you get all three of these lanes pushing, you get this lane pushed, and this lane pushed, then you can start getting deeper vision and picking people off, getting more dragons, and so on and so forth. But that's really how you close out and win games, is you push waves. You take towers and you push waves past those towers, and then you go and you take more towers. Like, that's, you know, the fastest, easiest way to win. But, you know, what happened there was, and this slowed down the game. And remember, anytime the game slows down, you're giving the enemy time to come back. You know, maybe they pick off a couple of people and get some kills. Maybe someone on your team disconnects. Maybe someone on your team starts getting mad for whatever reason. Maybe the enemy just hits really important items. So maybe Twitch goofed up buying Guardian Angel early, which he did, but then maybe his second and third item are Infinity Edge and Hurricane. And then all of a sudden he actually has a pretty good build. It just took him 25 minutes to get it. So, you know, you want to close out the game as fast as possible just so they have no chance of getting back in the game. But what y'all did was you were pushing up and trying to threaten this tier 2 tower with no vision here, no vision here. And the tier 1 tower was still up. So in theory, Master Yi could have come through here and picked you off, or Zed could have pushed the Veigar into this tower, and then he could have rotated over here to pick you off. They could have gotten behind you by going through this river route here, because you didn't have this warded. And you didn't have substantial pressure in the mid lane yet, because that tower was still there. So that's the issue. You're overextending, you're pressing too far here without enough vision and without enough pressure in other lanes. So it kind of worked out. You all ended up dying. Definitely once you see someone teleport onto this, like it's time to go. You have to run. Never take a fight where you have less numbers. So if it's 3v2, just don't do it. Even if you're ahead, it's just not worth the risk. I mean, even 3 people that are pretty far behind in items and making a lot of mistakes still have a pretty good chance to kill 2 people who are playing pretty well that are ahead in items, which is what happened. You know, they killed you around here. Okay, so back earlier, if you have no vision, especially for TP, let allies die if they're out of position. So rotate and pressure mid more after bot tower is down. Acquire and acquire vision in blue jungle. Deny enemy vision in river. Okay, so that's how you set up these rotations more, so that you can rotate and pressure mid. And then that's going to let you, like I said, not only can you pressure mid, but if they try to push up here and like make a play to kill this tower, which a lot of people will, like what'll typically happen is you'll push up to here, you rotate up here, you start pressuring mid tower, bot lane is going to say, oh, well, we need to push this. Then they'll push it up to try to pressure bot tower to counter you getting this tower. But you're going to get here first because their wave is going to be over here. So that means a lot of times you can get this tower and then rotate down there and kill them before they can get your bot lane tower. But yeah, that's why you want to just... And they're not going to see it coming because you've cleared out all this vision, and they're not going to have a map position to get that vision back very easily a lot of times. What else did I have for you? Pressure mid sooner. Yeah, everything else is pretty solid, I think. Did I say the R thing? Okay, not yet. So if they're going to let you just walk up and R into them, just go ahead and use your R, walk into them, and then use your W. It gives you a much bigger CC chain. The only time when you need to RW is when you have no other crowd control on your team, and that's your primary engage. But, you know, if Rammus has already taunted somebody, sometimes just a simple W is fine. You may not even need your R. If you do want to chain together the R, then you can W first and then R after that, or you can R first and then W after that. But you don't need to chain both of those together because you're wasting some of your crowd control. Another nifty trick you can do, which I saw some chances for this that you didn't take advantage of, if you R and your W's on cooldown, you can also E to an ally, and then if you E to them, as you jump to them for that E, if you touch somebody with R, it's still going to taunt them, even though it's not your W. So, for example, if Master Yi is trying to get on your Veigar, you can R and then E onto the Master Yi. Then your taunt's going to touch, or E onto your Veigar. Then your R is going to touch the Master Yi. He's going to be taunted, and then you W to knock him up, to chain it together like that. And then you have a shield on your Veigar to help him immediately. So that's one combo I didn't see you do a lot, which, you know, once again, is you press R, you E onto an ally when they're fighting a melee champion. You touch the melee champion with your ult, they're going to be charmed, and then you hit them with the W. So that's going to give 2 seconds of knockup and a shield onto your ally. Versus if you just RW onto them, you're only going to get like 1 second and some change of crowd control. Okay, so that's just another combo that you can use if you want to. And then finally... So consider, I don't know how I misspelled it that badly, but consider Locket or Redemption. So I prefer both on Rakan. Some people, like I said, will go for other permutations. You know, they might go for Righteous Glory into Locket or, you know, something like that. But I think both of those are very important because they just give you such great teamfight presence. Right, so like Banshees is good. It gives you some good personal protection. Ardent Sensor is okay, although, you know, like I explained earlier, it's better on certain types of 80 carries than others. But yeah, if you get comfortable using Redemption and Locket, it does take practice to get the timing right, especially on Redemption. You know, it does have a delay on it. But the sooner you get better with Redemption, the better off you'll be. I mean, it's a very powerful item on a lot of champions because it gives you that 550... area of influence. If you're really watching the minimap, you're practicing like really looking when to use it. It gives you huge team fight presence, lots of heal. It does 10% true damage to enemies, which is a lot. I mean, if you're hitting a 3000 HP tank for 300 true damage, that's like doing 600 damage to them. Normal damage to them. So it actually does a lot of damage if you hit enemies with it as well. So it's an extremely powerful item, and it's going to be core for probably a really long time on a lot of champions. So I highly recommend using Redemption. Locket is very similar. It's instant cast, so it's a bit easier than Redemption to use, but it's also people have to be relatively close to you, so you can't use it across the map. But Locket is also very good if you use it to mitigate damage. So you just have to practice like thinking about when you should lock it. I mean, honestly, with Redemption and Locket, even if you don't use them at the perfect time, they're going to be really powerful. So if a fight's breaking out, sometimes just, you know, Rammus goes in, just go ahead and drop a Redemption on him, and then just jump onto the Rammus with your E and just go ahead and lock it. Like, it'll be effective. Like, that may not be the perfect time to use those abilities, but it will absorb damage and it will heal some damage. So even if you don't use it at the perfect time, just use it every fight that it's available, and it will be effective. Okay. So just work on getting those items, using the items, and then you can kind of figure out as you use them more when the optimal times to use them will be, and you can start to, you know, increase your the power of your usage a little bit more, the effectiveness of your usage, I should say. Okay, but that's going to be it. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this, Jens. I think Jens is going to send us another replay here pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. There will be more coming. If you would like to send me a replay to review, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. I'm usually pretty good at getting those done for people within like 2 or 3 days, usually about 3 days, depending on how many people ask at the same time. But I can get them done in a very timely fashion for you. Just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. We can set that up. If you don't know how to send me a replay, I have a really quick and easy video by Nisi. He's another YouTuber that I can send you. It's really simple. Just send me the .rofl file, and that's pretty much all you have to do. But I can tell you about that in the email if you're interested. So just thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. If you want to watch more coaching sessions, I have a playlist linked here and also in the description to the video. And if you want to see some of my individual champion guides, I have a link here for you as well. So that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.